Hello, this is Amanda with From Where I Stamp near Kingston, Ontario. And today it's spring finally, and the snow is melting. and I wanted to make a kite card. So the Kite Delight stamp set here in the mini catalog, it is $25 Canadian. Whoops, for the stamp set, which is not going to show. There we go, $25. And it is something that you don't need a lot to create with this stamp set. So you can do just note cards and envelopes. You can use an embossing folder. You kind of can't see it, but if you go to page 31, one card uses the embossing folder with the cloud punch, and the other one is just a nice simple card using note cards and envelopes and some ink with some stamps. So stamps, ink, and paper. Nice and easy. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to create a card. So here it is bigger. So I love wishes for a carefree day. Another year flies by. Happy birthday. Your friendship is so uplifting. So some awesome sayings in this stamp set. And so yes, page 31 of the mini, fix my cover, mini catalog. And it's available until June. All right, we're going to put that down there. And let's have a look at the stamp set. So it is a photopolymer stamp set, which means it's a clear, see-through set. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos that I've used a photopolymer, I've probably talked about this before. But Stampin' Up's changed their case insert design. So they have the images printed right on the case insert, which is awesome. But then I can't flip it over. I'm so used to flipping it over and looking through the back to see the stamp. So I figured before I took them off, because it comes on a plastic sheet, the photopolymers do. So you pull them off the sheet and put them right into the stamp case. So before I did do that, I cut a little piece of basic white and I ink up with one of my favorite colors, Gorgeous Grape, and I stamp them all. Then I take this piece and just slip it here. So then I know that what this stamp is right here. So I can know what words I'm looking for. All right, so we're going to use that. So I'll put that off to the side. And we're going to use the basic white thick cardstock. So this is already scored and folded in half. And then we have some of the I always get it mixed up. On the Horizon or New Horizon. Let me look. Okay, so it's New Horizon Suite. On the Horizon is the stamp set. So this paper right here has some of my favorite colors in it. Misty Moonlight and Blackberry Bliss, Evening Evergreen. So the purples, the blues, and the greens that I really, really like. So the New Horizon 6x6 Designer Series paper, that is what I'm using on this card. So what I've done is our cards are half a sheet. So when I have it folded, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that's what I've cut my 6x6 piece to. And I'm just going to glue this directly onto the card base. And I'm going to use a little bit more glue than I normally do, just because it's going to be on the whole front of the card. All right, so we want to make sure the sky goes up, not down. And I usually do it upside down. So that way I go to the edge and then flatten it down. So hopefully that covers the whole entire card front. So then there's my card front. And it looks like I spent time watercoloring that beautiful, beautiful image. So now I have this, I think it's 3 by 3 1/4. Oh no, 3 3/4. So 3 by 3 3/4 is what we're going to put the kites on. So you can still see the grass and the sky. Made me think of running out and putting up the kites up in the sky. And then we have a 4 by 3/4 piece of excuse me, soft seafoam. And I might have to make it 1 inch wide. I'll have to see what sentiment I like the best. All right, so I have some white. We're gonna stamp a kite as well. So I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' and the Deluxe Foam Mat. I've talked about it enough. You should think I would remember the name of it. All right, so I want to use this one with flowers. And I'm going to use the soft seafoam, which is this color of cardstock. And I don't always open my, whoops, move that out of my way so I don't knock the card off my desk. So I don't always open my stamp ink pads. All right, so what I'm going to do is this one needs a little more ink. And I put my finger in the ink, but I have my Simply Chamois here. And the rest of the ink will come off in the shower tomorrow morning. All right. So we're going to put this here, like so. Better grab that Simply Chamois and put it over here so I can clean off my stamps. There we go. Now the reason I put the Deluxe Foam Mat underneath when I'm stamping photopolymer is you want to have something that has a little give, because there's no cushion like there would be with the cling stamps. So this one, I'm going to move this piece off to the side just for a minute, and I'm going to use a scrap piece of basic white and make sure I ink up the old olive onto this kite. And the one downfall to this stamp set, there is no punches or dies, but it's such an easy set to fussy cut. You can even use your trimmer if you wanted. So it's just a straight cut. Straight cut. We don't need all of that in the garbage. And a fourth straight cut. Easy peasy. Where did my tweezers go? There they are. These little mini dimensionals I find are great, but sometimes I have a hard time picking up the mini dimensionals. So tweezers are great for that. So let's pull in our items, our pieces here. So we have our card base. We have this partially stamped piece. So then this will go here. Now, what we want to do next is add in our little tails. So I'm going to use some Sahara sand. I thought about crumb cake, but I did some testing. That's always a good thing to do sometimes, is to test your colors. I had pulled rich raspberry and Evening Evergreen out, but they were too dark. They didn't look right. So sometimes just doing a little bit of testing on some spare cardstock before you actually put your card together can be a good thing. And then you can experiment with colors and try new combinations. All right. So, and I've gotten, if you can see, I've gotten some ink there on the corner of my clear block. So I'm going to wipe that off just so I don't tip that block and put ink right on my card, because that would be sad. All right, so we're going to do this like so. And I think for this one, I just want to draw the line. So I'm going to grab some markers, and I keep them in a stamp case. I'll grab my Sahara sand. Is that this one? Yeah. No, that's gray granite. Sahara sand right here. So for this, because I just want the line, and I know it's not really going to show up for you, I think I might use my scrap piece of paper just to make sure it's going to work. not too bad. It's not as dark, but that's okay. Maybe I'll use a different color then. Let's try a different color. See, experimenting. Just try some different things. Let's try crumb cake. And because of the Sahara sand is so light, I'm not worried about cleaning this between colors. But you can if you like, especially if you're using a darker color. I kind of like that better. Okay. So put this one where I'd like it to be. And then grab my crumb cake. There we go. It has little dots. That's okay. There. I kind of like that one. Turned out really well. All right. So clean up the stamp and put it back in the stamp case. Now, the one thing I wanted to do as well, I'm going to grab a smaller block. Let's see, maybe this one. And I wanted to do some clouds. Let's try to find my ink pad of Misty Moonlight, but stamped off Misty Moonlight. So not the full power. My desk, it's in space. All right. Put that up there. Oops. All right. So there's full power. I'm actually going to stamp it on cardstock. I'm going to show you because I need some other ink. See, half power. So there's, I'm going to call full power and half power. So we'll try that again, ink it up a little bit more, and we'll stamp full power. And then I want to do half power. And then same thing again, full power, half power, just to give the sky a little definition. Now I'm not sure if I want to stamp the sun, because I was going to stamp the sun, but now I'm not too sure if I want to stamp the sun. All right, I kind of like that without the sun, but let's experiment and see how it looks. All right, so I'm going to wipe off my workspace. Oops. There we go. And I have some Daffodil Delight because the sun has been very bright. Well, I'm hoping it'll be very, very bright. So let's take this here. And before I stamp again, let's see, maybe it goes up here or it's behind the cloud. Well, let's put it on the card. Another thing you can do too, so it's going to go like this. And then we have our soft sea foam piece, which I might use to cover the bottom, just so I don't cover the tails. Grab my scissors. Okay, so another thing I do is stamp the image and then see if it needs to be like kind of envisioned. I don't think I like it. I don't think that works. So I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm going to clean off that sun and put it away. All right, so I'm not going to put this one on yet until after I have this glued down. So I'm going to move this off to the side and we're going to stamp our sentiment. So let's see. I'm going to do Another Year Flies By. Happy birthday. Let's see if I will fit on this one. It does. Now you can use a dark color like the Old Olive, or you can use black. We're on the case of experimenting, so I'm going to do it on the back and try Old Olive because it's a darker kind of similar shade. Okay. So it might work. I kind of like that. And that will go on the card here. I like that. All right. I'm going to stamp it again just because I can see the edges. It's a thing that I don't like. I can see the edges from my trimmer. It's almost time to change the blade. So let's restamp this. There we go. All right, so time to put the card together. So this is a nice, easy peasy little card, and then you can do some trial and error and see what colors you like together. And, you know, any designer paper would work. And then just mix and match some colors to see which ones you like. Okay, I think that's kind of straight. You could even use some markers or some Stampin' blends to color in the kites if you wanted. So you could color in the flowers to make them pop a bit more. You could also have stamped these kites with Memento Black or another darker color, and then colored them in with markers or Stampin' blends. Either one. All right, so I think, do I glue it down or do I pop it up? I think I'll just leave the kite popped up. So we'll put a little bit of glue on the back here. So this is 4 inches long by 3/4 inches thick. So it's almost as wide as our card. And I'm just going to put it on the bottom. Oops, over a little bit more. Kind of like so. And there we go. So there is a quick little card using the Kite Delight stamp set. And with some, you could do some bright colors on there, but I kind of like the greens. It's still springy or almost summery feeling. And we need that. It's time to do the spring, get some bright colors, get the flowers popping up, get that snow to go away. And if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have a friend you think that would enjoy this, share it with them as well. Till next time.